I have thought something for some time now, but it's something that has been relatively nerve-wracking and a little bit scary to admit on camera. But today I'm going to do just that. I believe that the industry as a whole is set up right now for you as the independent Medicare or health insurance broker to fail. It's the reason why we have somewhere between 90 to 95% of people flame out in the first 3 years. Don't get me wrong, there is reasons that actually fall back on the individual not doing what they're supposed to do, not taking action, not putting the work in, not being coachable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of those things are true, but I believe there's an additional reason on top of that that's much deeper, and you're not going to want to miss this video because I'm going to break down exactly what it is and how the system is gaming against you and what you can do about it.
This video is brought to you by none other than Hire Heroes, you guys. Hire Heroes is your one-stop shop when it comes to virtual staffing and making sure that you have qualified talent with your business. One thing that I love about Hire Heroes, you guys, is they've actually gone through the process already of vetting and making sure that your staff member is well trained to best fit your needs. Whether you need help with social media work, posting things on your accounts, responding to people that send messages to your social media accounts, whether you need help with data entry or a multitude of other things that they're qualified to do, Hire Heroes has got you covered. If you're having trouble finding quality talent and number two, affording to be able to run payroll for that talent, Hire Heroes has got you covered with an affordable alternative to have a virtual assistant working for your business. There's a link down in the description of this video to where you can learn more about getting your own VA through Hire Heroes. I certainly recommend it. They're what we use in our business for all of our virtual assistant needs, and you will want to make sure that you check them out today.
If you've paid attention the previous year and a half to 2 years, one thing that you probably might be recognizing is life is becoming more difficult for a single individual agent. The insurance business has been, historically speaking, one of the most low barrier to entry industries you can think about. And people might say, oh, it's so hard, it's so hard, it's so hard. Name me another business that you can get into with your errors and omissions, your licensing exam, and something you can literally start off in your basement. And it's a very reputable industry, it's a very reputable line of work, and it's very needed, all things considered. But it's becoming harder and harder and harder. And why is that? Well, in my opinion, there's a few select reasons. The first one being regulation. Regulation has been coming out in abundance, whether it be for ACA, but particularly Medicare sales. Many of you probably remember last year in 2022, for that AEP, calls were required to be recorded in abundance. Really, every single call that had anything to do with a Medicare beneficiary was required to be recorded, stored for 10 years, which was a very large burden for a lot of people. Now, I was under the opinion that you were best off recording your calls, whether it was a rule or not, to protect yourself. But it was a surprise. Then this year, the additional rules that came out in abundance, and we've made videos about it. I'm not going to go into too much detail, the most notable of which the 48-hour prior to application scope of appointment rule coming back. If you look at the rule, that one in particular, we'll use it as an example, call centers are mainly exempt of this. Carrier reps are, of course, exempt of this because they are the carrier. They're not a third-party marketing organization. And so when you have organizations like that that are exempt of the rules that are being passed down, it makes you wonder, why is the target and the focus strictly placed on independent agents? Now, what I mean by they're exempt of this is shortly after the rule was actually placed, CMS came out and added a little bit of a detail to the rule saying that if anybody called inbound to an organization or a brokerage and was interested in buying insurance, the 48-hour scope of appointment rule would no longer apply. Well, we all know that is how call centers' business model is structured. They try to generate people to call inbound, which essentially means, for the most part, call centers that take inbound calls, which are probably, in my opinion, some of the biggest violators of some of the rules the previous 4 to 5 years, and the biggest reason why rules are coming down in the first place, are exempt of the rules. Why is that? Outside of additional rules and regulation, you have increased competition. There is more competition than ever before. There's more large organizations than ever before, publicly traded companies than ever before. There's more agents than ever before. Now, does that mean that it's a saturated market? No, I don't believe so, but the competition is increasing for a majority of us. So when you look at these two things, it makes you wonder, is the system set up for me to fail as an agent? And I would say the answer to that is a resounding yes. It's something that, in my opinion, is causing us as brokers to fizzle out easier than ever before. I believe it's a more difficult market to break into than it was 10 years ago than when I got in. Now, I'm here to tell you that this video is not just about doom and gloom. It's about to point out a reality of what you're facing as an agent. What you need to understand is there are some key things you can do to differentiate yourself and have a we versus them mentality, and we can still survive as agents. Number one, you have to be absolutely intentional and fantastic with your customers, and it's more important now than ever. Multiple touch points, great customer service, great customer experience, because that is how you and I, as individual independent brokerages, are going to win. The large call centers and the large organizations are not providing that quality of service for the most part. There are some out there that do, but majority of them do not. It's more important than ever that you be exceptional. And if you're not prepared to be exceptional, you are going to fall flat on your face. Great customer experience, great knowledge, ability to make things simple and easy to understand for your consumer is more important than ever. It's always been preached. It's always been encouraged. But let's face it, you could probably build a business and get by, not as easily, but you could without those things. I believe it's utterly impossible in 2023 without the exceptional customer experience and quality of service, number one. Number two, you have to have a constant growth mentality. Gone are the days of acquiring 500 or 600 clients and then just letting them sit and collecting your renewal checks, 6 figures plus a year. You need to constantly be in growth mode. If you have 1,000 clients, you need to be figuring out how to get to 1,500. If you're at 1,500, you need to be figuring out how to get 2,000. And the best way to be doing that in 2023 is by creating a long-term, multi-year branding strategy for your business and your local community to make sure that you are known as the go-to guy or gal. That means having a logo that everybody can recognize. That means having a color scheme that everybody can recognize. That means having a message that everybody's familiar with and can get on board with. And that means constantly pushing that message, branding, and logo into the marketplace. Whether it be through paid advertising, whether it be through grassroots marketing, you need to make sure more than ever that you are not just a nameless, faceless company if you want to survive. And the third thing I will mention, and then we'll cut this video off here, and I appreciate you watching all the way to the end, you guys, but the third thing you need to be aware of is you have to be willing to take risks. You have to be willing to spend money and try things. It's becoming more important than ever, and the people that are showing courage are the ones that are going to be able to stay here long term. You must, and I mean must, put yourself in a situation where you are standing out above the competition. It's more important than ever because the industry as a whole is set up for you to fail. It's set up against you. But if you do what you need to do to stand out, to be exceptional, to be extraordinary, you will stand above the rest and you will succeed in this business. The industry is trying, in my opinion, over a long period of time, I think this is the first phase, to phase us as brokers out. If we prove ourselves to be extraordinary and essential, they will not be able to do that. So let's band together. Let's concentrate on the ideology of rising tide lifts all boats, and let's all work together to do business the right way and serve our customers the best. And we will still be able to have a place in this business. And I believe we can increase the amount of people that are successful as a result by providing good information and helping each other. Anyway, guys, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Comment your thoughts down below. I'd love to kind of hear the dialogue that you would like to get into on this video. Make sure to like this video because more people like you need to find this video, and smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm will help that be possible. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Here's to your success and your abundance. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.